give everybody a few minutes so that everyone can get in before I start. And everything looks good so far. Still gonna be a minute or two before I'm ready. And give some people time to get in. Okay, so it's time to get started. It's being recorded so I can go ahead and start speaking about what I want to today. Today, I'm going after a couple of bench runs with an Opty 175, socket 939, and a DFI SLI-DR motherboard. And you can see the setup here. I got my fans in place for my RAM and my VRMs. Got my chipset cooler that I custom made a while back for this application here, with a little small 40 millimeter chipset fan, which is 40 CFM, so it's loud when it ramps up. But luckily, I've got it tuned so maybe it won't be so loud. Now the hoses you see, they're orange because they got stained with Dexcool, because I used to run orange Dexcool in it a lot. Matter of fact, all the time for a while, and they just picked up the color of it. Now the hoses are still good, so don't let the color throw you off. They're just not blocked or anything. It's just they just picked up that color from the Dexcool over time. And let's go ahead, and before I start, something I want to show you guys that I picked up just to show it off, if you will. This is something I picked up some time ago for socket 939 and 754. And let's see. This is what's called a danger den block, as you can see. You can see the box. I'm going to open it up. This block, when I bought it, was brand new, unused. I got it a few years ago off eBay from a guy that had originally purchased it for a project he was going to do back in the day, but he never got around to doing it, so he never used it. And it sat around for a while in his garage or wherever he had it stored, and he came across it one day while he was cleaning out his garage, and he put it up on eBay. I'm going to go ahead and put this up here so you can see it. I hope you can see it. Get a little closer. And you can see it right there. So it's basically unused. I've used it only a couple of times myself, about 2 or 3 times tops. But it's a real nice shape. It's a great example of what was available back in the day when you could still order a lot of the real high-end custom water cooling. And from the few times I've ran this block, it did really well. I'm proud to have it. And I don't use it that much, as I said, because normally, let me move this fan out of the way for a second. I use an OCZ hydroflow block is what I have here, and that's what I've been using since I've been into water cooling in the first place. And it's a good block too. And it's actually used for the majority of everything that I do, period. So anyway, I'm going to get started. Another thing I wanted to point out, some of you may be wondering what some of this stuff is here. This workbench is a mess because I work out here more. I do more than just a bench out here. I actually do work, like solder work on stuff in general, like carburetors and the like. So this bench gets used for a lot of different things. So that's the reason why it's such a mess in here. Because this is actually a work area more, in addition to just being a place that I bench. This is like a little corner I've got set up. I know it's really hard to see in the video, but there's a power supply here, and I use it to power my pump. It's the MCP 655 Vario, also from back in the day, 2009. That's when I bought it, and another one actually. It's over there in the corner, and I just use it strictly for the pump. So when I go to use it, I can turn it on. That's what I'm fixing to do right now. And what I can do when I'm doing things on chilled water like I'm about to do today, I can put my ice in it, let it circulate, get everything down to temperature before I even start or even fire up the system. I'll go ahead and turn this on. And down here, it's off camera, you can't see it, and this is one of my so-called secrets. This is how I'm able to continue to add ice and maintain my temperatures and keep benching. I have at the bottom of the hoses, I know you can't see it, but I have part of the hoses which runs under here, under this bench, and I've got a valve that's tied in, and it's a drain valve, and it's draining right now. You can actually, I don't know if you can see it or not, but you can actually see I can see the level of the reservoir going down, but the water's still flowing. But I can open it all the way if I want, like so, for a fast drain. But usually I don't do that. I'll let it drain off slowly. That's usually how I do it. And what that does, as I said, it allows me to continue adding ice to it as I bench. And that's the main purpose for it. Obviously, if you have an AIO, you can't do that unless you go and you modify the AIO tubing itself so that you can add in a valve for the same purpose. But since this is a custom system, it's no problem. I'll have to step out just a minute and dump this water in the catch can out. And be right back. And as I indicated, it only takes a moment to do. I've got it back in place. And I'm going to go ahead, while that's running, and start adding some ice to it. You'll see me step into the frame to add ice to it. Yeah, it's a little messy. This is what I've got. That's what I use. It's what I've used since the beginning, since I've had this set up here. Now that I've got that started, turn on the system, get it into the BIOS. You can hear that little fan ramp up, and it'll wind down. And go down here to PC Help, and you can see the CPU core temperature, which is roughly at about 18 at the moment, but it'll start to drop. I've got another one here. I need to redo the sticky part to it. It's showing 11. That's your coolant temperature, and that's your CPU temperature. This, I need to redo the sticky on this. I normally have it right here, but it started falling off, so I got to get some more of that Velcro stuff put on it so it'll stay up. I know you can't see it in the video, but that's what it is. But the way that the hoses are doing right now anyway, I don't think it's getting an accurate reading regardless, so it's there, but that's it. And then what's going to happen, just as soon as this ice gets the coolant down about where I want to start benching, I'll have to drain it off again. Add more ice to it, and then I'll be ready to go. Matter of fact, I'll probably splash some more ice into it anyway. But that's one of the benefits that I have of having a power supply dedicated just for the pump. It was warm and kind of muggy or humid yesterday. Today it's much colder after storms ran through last night. I believe we still got some humidity in the air, but since the ambients are much cooler now than they were, it should be a lot better. And this is kind of locked up on me. That'll do it. Caught that. Luckily it didn't hurt the fan. Fan's really funny. There we go. Now it's doing what it's got to do. Yeah, I believe the temperature sensor in this board is off, because I'm still showing 15, and I know it's cooler than that. It's got to be, because I'll show you in the BIOS. I'm only running 1.35 volts to it right now, and I'm at stock 200, 11x for the multiplier, that kind of thing. No crazy voltages or anything right now. And while I'm still on the subject, before I get started, as I've mentioned about this chipset cooler, this is something that I actually made myself some time ago. And I learned how to work with copper as far as being able to make things out of it. Like when I modified my pot, I made some VRM heat sinks, that kind of thing. And I made this cooler as well for the North Bridge. I originally made it for an AM3 Plus board, but that didn't work out too well. It wasn't that the cooler itself wasn't working itself, but the board was flexing too much. But in this board, and I have to say, this SLI-DR is an older board than the AM3 Pluses are. It's got a little bit thicker PVC, so it doesn't flex as much, if at all, really. And I got some thermal padding under it, and it's doing fine. And let's see, go back down to that. Yeah, it's holding temperatures quite nice. This is a 40 CFM fan, so as I said earlier, when it ramps up, it gets loud. You can hear it. This is an updraft style, and it sucks in air through these holes that I've got drilled around the circumference of it, down low. I've got one of my stalks soldered into the base, going up close to the top, with the tops spread out. So when the air comes in from the bottom and comes up, it goes past where I have the stalk spread out and just picks up the heat and just vents it straight out the top. And that's the way I designed it. And now it's time to start draining my tank off again. Since the system is just not really doing anything right now, I can go ahead and go for a quick drain. This is not under a load. I need to do something with that one of these days. Yeah, I got some RAM here. OCZ Flex DDR3s. That's water cooled. I can't let the ice get too low, because if it does, it'll start sucking bits and pieces of ice into the pump. And I think it's already started to do it. That's no big deal to take care of. If I have to do what I got to do with it. I'm going to take just a little bit of the water from this catch can, pour back into it, and that'll fix it. Sometimes that happens. I pour a little bit too much into it. The obvious solution is said to that problem is just pour a little water back into it. I can shut that pump off for a minute if I must, just to get that ice to come back over and give it a chance to melt just a little bit more, because I don't want to hurt the pump. And right now I'm just letting that chill out. That should pick back up in just a minute. But anyway, that's what this is. And for those of you that I do see a couple have joined in, welcome to the live stream. I'm going to shut this down for just a minute. But anyway, welcome to the live stream. And just to recap what I said at the beginning when I first started, because I am recording this, it will be recorded. This is me doing a run. I'm using an Opty 175, which is a socket 939 chip, in a DFI SLI-DR motherboard. And today I'm going to be doing a couple of runs on chilled water, going after a run at the bot, just to see how well I could do. And the interesting thing about it is the run that I'm going after was done on liquid nitrogen, but I'm chasing it with chilled water. And I believe I can catch the guy. I think I can. This is actually a very good chip. So we just have to see and what happens. Just need to get that pump to circulate properly like it's supposed to. And looks like it's doing it. There it goes. It's circulating now. Go ahead and fire it back up. Hey, Newt. Hey, Avocado. I apologize if I'm not able to look at the screen often where you're texting, because I'm having to concentrate on what I'm doing. I apologize for that in advance. Because I'm I'm configuring settings and whatnot. But I do see that you're in. Welcome to the stream, please. Thank you. And I'm about to get started here in just a moment. I'm going to go ahead and start setting up my tweets right now. Go ahead and run that up. Screw it. Let's go for 1.8. Hey, Zilla. I'm at it again, man. I'm going to blow something else up today. And Zilla, this 175, and Zilla would know what I mean when I say it this way. This 175 appears to be about on the same levels as that 165, or very, very close. I'll even give you guys, I took a screenshot of it yesterday. I'll have to find it, but it's in here. Let me open that up. There's one. Look at the voltage that it was running at 3 gigahertz. I'll leave that up for a minute. And that's about the same as my good 165 would do at 3 gigahertz. So this chip is a clocker. And the run that I'm going after was done by a guy from the Hardware Canucks team. He was using liquid nitrogen on his, and I think I can get him on chilled water. Now, Bastian EHW, he's the team captain of EHW's HWbot team. It's good to see you in here, man, Bastian. It really is. And I'm going to go ahead and just start setting things up, start tweaking, working it up. I'm going after 1 meg Super Pi. And I'll have to check to see what else I've got in here. I hope I put that in here. I may have to get my USB drive, if it's not out here from somewhere, and put some Pi-Fast in it. Now 32 meg Super Pi, I already have the gold. I currently hold the gold with it. So that's not a problem. For right now, I'm going to go ahead and load this up too. Let's see what I've got. I'm going to go ahead and open up CPU-Z so you can have an idea of the speeds, and I'm actually running along with my RAM speeds. I'm at 2860 currently and at 238 on the RAM. Right here you can see my timings at the moment that I normally use with this particular set of sticks, 2.5337 at 1T. You can see that. And you saw that I set in the BIOS 1.55 and it's coming up as 1.52 in CPU Z. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and take this up to at least 3.1. And I'll just do a quick run and see how it's going to do. And I'm not going to bother the priorities right now. I'm just going to set the affinity. And core 0 on this chip is stronger than core 1, so that's what I'm going to use. And I hope my feed isn't cutting in and out, because apparently my live stream, I hope it hasn't cut out on me. Let me check that. Boy, now it's doing fine. Which is really no bother if it did cut out, because it's being recorded, so if I have to upload what I've got, I can do that. There it goes. Apparently this wasn't updating here on my end for me to see that it was still working. 27.391. That's what I just had, as you can see. And I'm going to crank it up. I don't have a whole lot of ice, and I'll probably go through it fairly quickly today, so this stream may not last as long as the others had been normally. It was a little over 3.2. Again, right now I'm not messing with my priorities, just my affinity right now, because I'm still like in the tweaking stage of everything. Let's see what I get. By the way, the record, the score that I'm chasing just to get bronze is, if I remember correctly, 25.296 or 263 seconds in 1 meg. So let's see what I get. Undoubtedly, after this run, I'm going to have to volt it up some more, probably. So that means a reboot, but you know, that's expected. May have to run back inside the house, see if I can find that drive that's got PieFast. But that's a much better time than I had, 26.437. And as I said at the beginning, when I was first recording this for anybody popped in, we had some storms roll in last night, and it was warm and humid yesterday, and today it's a lot cooler out, so that's helping, especially things with the board. Trying that at 3255 right now. The one thing that may or may not make the difference for me is my RAM, whether or not it can run fast enough or go tight enough. Which of course I've got several sets of sticks that I can get and use if I have to. That's not a problem. Pick and choose what I've got. 26.110. Making some progress. Go for 3.3. Now, how many chips like this have you ever seen run 3.3 without even having to kick in the percentage divider and the voltage in a DFI? This one will do it, and you're about to see it. And that's the reason why I was saying earlier, the guy that had the LN2 sub, I think I can get him. This is a good chip. It's all going to come down to a matter of where the chip wants the wall and my RAM. $25.735. So I'm definitely closing in. And all I've done is just a basic set of tweaks in the BIOS right now. Tell you what, guys, let's crank it up. And there it goes. I knew it was going to do that at some point. It had to. And I'm going to be messing with the BIOS and jumping the ice at the same time. Down here, I'm going to back that off a little because now I'm getting into the percentages. I don't know. Let's see. Let's bump that up like that. All that is gone. Screw it. That'll do it. Let me go up here also. This may or may not help. Gotta keep that water cold. If the chip will do it, it will. If it won't, it won't. And I believe the problems I'm going to have are more RAM related than they are CPU. However, this is a good set of sticks, so I can't complain. I've only beat on them for the past 10 years, and they're still going. And of course, it's going to throw the blue screen error. Let it do its little bull about check. Okay, let's tweak and tune again. And go ahead and just set it back up. Of course, got to do that. Go ahead and open that up. Now I did drop my HT speed down. That may or may not stabilize it or help to stabilize it. I don't know yet. Voltage appears to come up a little, but not a lot, which is okay. 256 on my RAM. We'll leave it right there because you can see here where it says where my cursor is, the actual CPU speed it's setting for it, but that's my RAM speed to give you an idea of what it's actually doing when I go for a run at a certain speed. Really starting to stretch this chip and RAM a little bit, which is cool. That's 3321. Let's try that. I may have to just slowly bench up to it what I want it to do. I'll get into the priorities later when I get it about where it needs to be competitive. And that looks like a decent run. And she just wigged out on me, not exactly around. Sometimes though you can close it and start it again, and then the next time it'll run fine. Sometimes you can do that. And of course the other variable is the IMC of this particular chip, just exactly how strong it is. That's the other variable in play. Yep, that's true, Zilla. That's what I'm doing. I'm sneaking up on it. 25.594. I'm getting there. I need 3/10 of a second or 4/10 of a second to take that back. I'm just going to let that sit for a moment and bring temperatures back down on everything. Get my ice to settle. And I'm going to have to keep an eye in this area because sometimes I'll have a little bit of condensation start. It'll start to build up around these fitting areas. But with the air that's blowing on it right now, does help to keep it dry. But anyway, it's a 25.516. We'll sneak that up a little bit more. If you don't want to go, that just means more voltage. Now it looks like I'm getting somewhere. Maybe. After this run, I'm going to drain off my res just a little bit. Okay, 25.375. I'm definitely getting close to him now. If she'll just go just a little bit higher, I think I can take it. I'll drain off some of this water. I mean, you can tell by looking at the res that I've still got plenty of water overall inside of it. I just want to keep the ice full. Pack that in. And make sure I don't stop it up. Sure I got good water flow. That's essential with this. There we go. Water flow has slowed a little bit, but not terribly. Shouldn't affect it. Not that much. $33.55. Let's see what happens. He's not exacting around. Again. As I said, I might be bumping the ability of these sticks to run. It's very possible, or the IMC of this chip. I might be just getting up against that. So I'll have to either get some sticks, drop my divider, get it to go higher or something to make up for the difference, if that's the case. And that might be what's going on. Because my coolant flow's good. That's not a problem. I'm going to go ahead and reboot. And do some tiny tweaks. Oh yeah, Zilla, this chip wants to go. And she is definitely a runner. I'm going to go ahead and drop that down a little. And I have to be careful in this area because this board has proven to be really finicky. Of course, it's a DFI anyway. I mean, finiky's the word with these things, but it's proven to be really finicky with the RAM. Whereas some of the other DFIs, they didn't mind it, but this one does. So I have to be careful about exactly how to go about my tweaks here. And that's 1.56 according to that. I'm going to reboot it and check my voltages before I continue. .64. I can go with that. It's turning more to a matter now of the CPU clocking up than the RAM at the moment, from the looks of it. Which I know the RAM will clock up. You just saw it do it itself. It's not the best set that you can get or the best results, but it's good. I have had these sticks up to DDR600 before, which is 300 in a CPU-Z. They have done it before and benched successfully. But that was with a different chip. The IMC of this chip, I don't think is quite that strong. I don't think it is. But with what it's done so far, it's good. Not a lot to complain about. Open this up. Open this up so I can see where I'm at. You can see my CPU voltage is reading low in CPU Z. Not a lot I can do about that. Look how low my RAM speed is. But that's all right. We're fixing to take care of that. I don't like making big jumps with my tweaking, because that really makes them unstable. And tends to crash the system most of the time when you make too big of a jump for it to adjust to. But this is also going to let me know just how good this chip is in terms of megahertz. If it's anything like the 165, and so far it looks like it has a chance, this will be a fun chip. And I do hope that 165's new owner's having fun with it. Yeah, that's definitely going to hurt my speed. You know, Super Pi, it's definitely going to hurt it. Well, got a deal. I might need to get a little paper towel in there for a moment, just a preventative measure more than anything. As I said, the humidity right now is low, temperatures are low, which is good. I do have the board prepped against condensation, but I don't like taking chances. Anything could go wrong for any reason. Put it right back where it had been crashing before. This will give me an idea if it's the RAM or the CPU itself giving up. But as you saw, I did give it more. Voltage. Okay, that's set. I had to be sure that was done. So it's not going to run as fast, but if I can get my CPU speed up, it'll make up the difference. I do hope. Yeah, I can definitely tell that's going to be a slower run. Yeah, DFIs are definitely tweaker boards. Definitely. Yeah, I've got a ways to go before I can get that RAM to really run like I want it to. Because he's dropped to 25.969 now. But something I've noticed about these DFIs like this, sometimes you'll set a RAM divider for it, but then it'll pick its own RAM divider, and that may be what's happened here, based on how it boots. Yeah, let's see if she'll run at 3371. Yeah, you would know, Zilla, as many times as you've ran one of these. Hey, Avocado, I hope Pio's in watching this. Maybe, maybe not, but he can always catch it because, like I said, it is being recorded, so it can always be viewed later. Now, this is actually, I'm hoping this is a 3.4 benchable chip, like my 165, my old 165 is. Which the new owner now knows that, as well as the fact that when I said that chip was doing 3.4 plus on the chilled water, and that was no joke or no lie. And you guys are actually seeing that this one is very close to that itself. This one, very close. It's just got to make it. I'm watching the iterations count down. Oh yeah. I know I've got headroom on the RAM now. It's just a matter of how much headroom I have with the CPU now. I would go for tighter timings on these sticks, but they don't particularly like, being that they're TCCD, they really don't like tighter timings as much as they like overall RAM speed. And there it is, 3.4, can she do it? Oh man. Probably needs a little more voltage, maybe. But I mean, she's right there in the neighborhood of 3.4 benchable on chilled. I mean, she's right there at it. Just hasn't actually done it yet. Oh yeah, I think I'm gonna have to put a little more juice to it, and she'll do it at 3.4. Just a little more. And I'm just gonna let that sit for a moment. So maybe the coolant, if it's a problem with it getting warm doing this stuff, it'll cool down. Yes, it's crashing faster, which tells me that I'm gonna have to do something different here, but that's fine. Yeah, I know it's tantalizingly close to being a true 3.4 benchable. Very much so. I do have a little bit of water in here. I want to get my paper towel caught up in the fans. That'd be comical. You know it would be. Then you may see the paper fly before this one's over with. But I'm going to do that. That water's nice and cold. I'm just glad I'm not trying to do this in the middle of June or July, because that ice wouldn't last 5 minutes without me having to put more into it. But that ice, since it's cool outside today, is actually lasting a while. And while I got you guys in here and I'm at this run, I'm going to show this again. I did it at the beginning of the video, and I'm just going to show this again. Some time ago, I picked this up on eBay. You can see what it is. It's a Danger Den block, CPU cooler block. Just kill a little time here. I'll show it again for you guys. See, it's got the Danger Den logo on it and everything. The block itself is almost brand new. It's only been used a couple of times since it was brand new, because that's how I bought it, brand new. And to go back over the story that I said at the beginning of the recording, this was bought by an individual. See, it still even has this warranty sticker on it. Bought by an individual who had bought it for a project back in the day and never used it. Put it up, forgot about it, found it years later, cleaned out his garage, and he put it up for sale on eBay. And guess who found it? The couple of times that I've used that block, it did really well. You can almost call it a relic if you want to. It's 6.4. Yeah, I'm thinking this chip is starting to scale. But I can say one thing about it. The chip has the megahertz in it to actually get the job done that I'm wanting done today. It's just really a matter more of getting my RAM to cooperate and the IMC of the chip itself. Since I didn't change the divider, I know about what my RAM speed is. Starting to crank just a little bit, but that's not close to optimal timings that you'd really want. Yeah, I found that one a while back, as I said, and I'm glad I've got it. It's like a museum piece. I'm going to start right there at 3380. And let's see what happens. Will the voltage bump let her do 3.4 or not? Let's find out. Nuke, one thing about the blocks, and you can look at a newer block. Matter of fact, I got a couple of newer blocks around. I don't have any handy at the moment I can just put my hands on. But a newer block is thinner on the bottom in terms of copper and mass, because that's just how they make them. But the older blocks have more copper mass at the base, which helps to absorb heat spikes. And when it gets cold, it tends to hold temperatures better. That's the reason why the old ones, like I have, are really, they're really good. Now the design of it is, for efficiency, is another factor too, which the old ones obviously are not going to be as efficient as your newer ones, because the design just isn't as advanced. But there were some good blocks that were not really that massive on the bottom, but yet they had a real good design, so they were efficient. This particular block here, this OCZ HydroFlow, is a thinner base block, but it has a really good design in the base, so it works well. Let's go and repeat that. Look at that. I think I'm getting trolled. They had to break out the bad boys, as in ram sticks that I've got. No problem to do if I have to. Just means I have to shut it down, swap stuff out, retweak the RAM, and go again. And pardon me for a memento while I refill my drink. I got toilet ice in here. Yeah, that's about the same time. Just topping off the drink, fellas. Taking a moment to do that. You gotta have your drink when you're benching. And no, I haven't mixed anything in it today, Zella. Not yet. Anyway. Yeah, 25735. Let's kick it up. But you can tell with that last run she's starting to get unstable again, so I'm thinking right now it's more a case of the CPU walling. Our coolant flow looks good. And I think that's probably going to be my best bet. Probably to break out that other set. Because the CPU it's walling right at 3.4. Go ahead and shut this off. That's one thing I always do. I always cut off the power whenever I'm swapping components or whatever, because accidental tap of the power button, something making contact causes it to start up. It's just an invitation for disaster. I'd rather not. Yeah, tighter timings is what I'm having to go for this time. But at the same time, like it is with anything else, you've got to have enough RAM speed for it to matter in the first place. Now these sticks are really good sticks, and they're TCCD, but I think the CPU is the biggest factor right now that I'm running into with it. I just got to dig in the old bin and find what I've got. That's not it. There's one of them. Be sure these are the ones I want. It's been a while since I've even fooled with these. Yeah, I think these are it. Yeah, these are the ones. These are the ones. These are unbinned Wing Bond BH5, factory rated for 3.2 volts, and that's factory for these. That's their factory rating. And because they're BH5, you can guess what else I'm going to do. With the DFI, move this jumper, which enables extra RAM voltage. Just like so. Make sure all that's right. And once again, she's being a pain in my butt. Different RAM type with different settings needed for it. I figured this was going to happen, but that's fine. It only takes a moment to reset a DFI anyway. And if it doesn't work, I'll switch back to something else that may or may not do just as good or better. I do have another set of TCCDs that could well do it. Let's see what she does. She's being a pain in my butt. Now, this thing had been messing up on me earlier whenever I tried the yellow RAM slots. That's why I had them in the orange RAM slots. So I'm going to try them in the yellows this time just to see if anything will happen. It might straighten up and fly this time. I don't know yet. If that's not the case, again, I know what to do. Not a total surprise considering the problems I've had lately with things, and as I indicated, this board had been giving me a little trouble earlier. It was being a little funny. And it's still being a little funny. I'm not laughing. Let's see. I'm having to dig around off screen for the ones that I'm actually looking for that I think will do it. And because I'm going back to TCCD, I need to reset this back over. Some people will just, volt them up anyway, not worry about it, but I try to take care of my stuff at least, whether I actually get a gold or not, because I can always try again later if the hardware is still good. These are Corsair Blacks 2.5448, and these are XMS 4400s. So they're a higher bin set. See if she's going to run or not. It may not have cleared the time. It may not have cleared the settings, which might be a good thing. Let's see. No, it didn't clear settings. Probably has something to do with that. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and raise that back up. And just for the sake of it, I'm just going to raise that back up too. And I'm going to go ahead and drain this res down a little. I'm letting it do a trickle drain so that the res will go down real slow. But I don't want to forget that it's draining, because I have done that before and it actually ran dry on me one time. I didn't lose the chip or anything, but it was just annoying that I forgot about it. So I got distracted with something else going on. Let's see. I gotta watch my catch can too, because it will eventually fill up and I'll have to step out and dump it. As you guys see, I stuff it when I put ice in my res. Let me check something over here. Okay, that's good. Right. Go ahead and set this up. Now another thing I can do, if things really start going flat on me, is I can use a different multiplier than 11x, because I'm using the top multiplier right now. There's where my RAM stands right now, 238, with those sticks. Since I got this different set of sticks in, I'm just going to go ahead and just start it off like this and get an idea how it's behaving. And so far it's like she's right on time. $32.30. You notice I'm actually going up a bit in the medium bumps instead of just sneaking it up. I do get impatient sometimes, and that's probably why I trip myself up a lot. I knew she was in the 26s then. So right now I'm just having to sneak it up a little at a time. Not getting in a hurry and trip myself up, as I mentioned a minute ago. Sometimes I do that, get in a hurry. If the IMC this chip can hold, and if these sticks can hold to just about the speeds where I was at, I might get it done. It's all going to depend on everything being able to work together and keep working. And I have to admit, the ice has lasted a lot longer than I thought it would. Block is more or less staying dry, which is good. Just a tiny bit right here. And that usually takes care of it, just absorbs all of it all the way around. I know she should run here if her sticks are good at all. So far, so good. I was able to tell by because I did just do some test setups. Obviously, I had to get everything working, like my drivers, my card, and everything, my test setups. I was able to look at the iterations as everything went and tell about how it was doing. And that's the reason why I thought that I probably have a chance at doing well with this. It just seemed like it, with the way that the iterations were coming down versus the CPU clocks that I was hitting, and the RAM speeds that I was getting at the time. But that was the other day. This is today, and as you know, you can I could walk away from this and come back to it tomorrow just like it is, refill the ice in the thing. It'd be crashing all over the place, never get anything done. It's just the nature of it. I agree, Newt, gold or nothing. If I can get gold, I'll go for it, of course. Gold, with the cooling that I've got and everything, maybe just a hair out of touch for this chip, unless I can get it to run faster. Or get some better sticks. Really, better sticks is what's holding me. What's holding me back. It's just when I get so fast, the sticks want to start giving up. But that, again, that could be just the IMC of the chip itself causing that. You know, just not able to hold up to it. Good thing is I do hold the gold in 32 meg with this chip, so. Oh yeah, 25.4. I'm 2/10 off. And if she can just hold it together. She can just hold it together for that last 2/10. I'll at least get what I had back. Or at least what I had for a while back. Because this is really going to take a lot of tweaking for me to get things figured out to go for the silver and the gold. Ooh, getting close. Getting close. No, Brute's clocks aren't that far off, but it's more than just CPU clock. It's also RAM, your timings and everything. There's still a lot of tweaking that I really need to be doing, but having the right sticks with this chip is the biggest thing. And these sticks are not going to tweak the same way as the others that I had. I had a set of Patriots in at first, and these are Corsairs, so they're going to act a little differently. Now it's good that both of these sets of sticks, they're higher bend. The Patriots were PC 4000. These are PC 4400. So they're a higher bend of DDR. And I do believe I just took it, guys. I do believe I just took that back with that one. I'm going to go ahead and snap it. I'm going to go ahead and snap that screenshot anyway. I knew it was somewhere in this area. I want to say it's a 269 that was done that took the bronze away from me. And the guy reported running on liquid nitrogen. Well, there you go. And I know that it was 2/10, so if I'm able to get one more run out of this down in the 25.1s, then you'll definitely see that sometimes running liquid nitrogen itself is not all that there is to it. Sometimes it takes a little more. Bump that around a little bit. But you'll give me a 25.1 anything, that's guaranteed to take the bronze at least. Oh yeah, there it is. There it is. All I got to do is just get the screeny. always do that twice when I get my screenshots. I have had screenies sometimes, it'll take the screenie, but part of the screening be blacked out. That way it gives a better chance of actually getting a screening. That's why I do that. So that has definitely got me bronze now. I've actually beaten a guy who was running liquid nitrogen, or so he says on his, on chilled water. So there you go. And I'm not going to knock the guy. He's actually a very good bencher. It's just that in certain cases, I know it boils down to the bend of the chip that you get, your RAM, your board. It all has to work together. Maybe he had to use liquid nitrogen just to get that far. But I'm not having to. This is also going to tell me if it's an IMC, if it was the sticks. Looks like it's going to be the IMC of this chip. Because I've already raised my CPU voltage up a few times and it's walling right at 3.4. There's the frequency that I'm running. I could try dropping it down. So right now, what I've got to figure out is it the chip doesn't want to run 3.4, or is it the IMC? I mean, that's the next thing to figure out. Now, since I don't really need to worry about increasing my CPU voltage because it's not running at any higher speeds, it should be able to do it just fine. But what's going to happen, that's definitely going to make my RAM speeds come up, but at the cost, of course, of my CPU speeds being low. You could almost say that what I was after today, what I really wanted to do, has been done, and now I'm just tweaking and testing. So I'm a happy camper today. This actually worked out to be a good session. I actually accomplished what I set out to do. But as Nuke pointed out, go for gold or go home. And I'm good with that. $282 on the RAM. I'm probably going to run out of RAM before I run out of CPU this time. $291. And you can see the lower speed, the lower times, just because the CPU megahertz is lower. Oh, it's way lower. 24.910 is gold. I'm definitely going to go for it. If she'll do it. I may, as I said, I may run out of RAM before it's over with. I've got my RAM up higher. I just don't have any sets that can do like cast 2225 like those guys have got. I don't have any sets that'll do that. And that BH5 I tried to put in earlier, the unbend wind bond, you saw it didn't want to work with the board, so that's, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But since these are a higher bend set of sticks, if the IMC of the CPU will hold up and those sticks can go high enough, I actually stand a shot at getting it. But right now, with the results that I'm getting right now, I'm way off the mark. I got to make up over a second just to even have a shot at it. And let me see where I'm at. Yeah, I've got to make up over a second. And I'm at 293 already with this. Still doesn't mean I won't try it though. Well, that's the thing about it, Nuke. These are TCCD, and when you start getting up to 3.1 and 3.2 with TCCD, that's really getting into the danger zone with them. Usually they say 2.9 to 3.0 is all it takes really to top them out. If you go 3.1, 3.2, you can get a little extra sometimes, but if you do, you better have the cooling on them. Now, you may have some overclockers out there, and for all I know, you may be one of them. I don't know. That's like, you know, screw it, just throw voltage to it till it croaks or gives you what you want. You can do that if you want to, but trying to find sets of DDR of this bin anymore is really hard to do. And usually when you do find them, they're not in great shape. These sticks have rarely been ran since new. I've rarely ran them, and they're still in good shape. And I want to keep them that way if possible. Because I can always reload and try again later if I want to. I'm just saying that, you know, it's like for the record. That's one of the reasons why I've got what I've got, is because I don't abuse what I've got any more than I have to. This stuff is just so hard to find nowadays. Now the 3.3 sticks were them gold ones that I put in, and I tried them for a few moments, and the system wouldn't boot with them, so I had to swap them out. These, as a matter of fact, this is one of them right here. I don't know if you can see it, it's probably blurry. I can't help what the camera sees or doesn't see. But that's one of them. She completed that run, and where did she complete that run at? Oh, that's looking a lot better. If she'll go up high enough with my RAM and still complete a run, you know, just keep going up, I might be able to get that gold yet. I'm gonna have to drain down my res just a little bit too. 25.5, roughly about half a second, just over half a second. I got to get this drained down a little bit. She's not under a load, so I can do this. You can see how quickly it goes down when I trip that drain valve. There's still plenty of ice in it though, so I'm not going to actually have to add any more to it, thankfully. Still plenty. The chip itself is still within its where it wants to run. Oh, she just tripped. Where am I at with that one? 302. Wind that back just a little bit. This might be the point where I start messing with my priorities. But I'm going to try just straight infinity first. Let it sit for a moment. I have to agree, Avocado, that record might be within reach. It depends on how well the system remains stable. I mean, what I said earlier about the sticks, about overvolting them too much, don't think I won't try 3.3 with these sticks. I just don't want to. If that's what it takes to get it. Alright, looks like I've got a little bit of a wall here. Maybe. And you guys can see that she's actually completing pi runs at over DDR 600 right now. This chip is, so it's got a good IMC. That much I do know is fact now. She clocks up high. Maybe not quite as high as I want to, but then again, they never clock high enough, do they? They'll never do that. And like Zilla said, I'm just working it up a little bit at a time, just slowly but surely sneaking up. Maybe it'll get it, maybe not. $25,297. Which means I've got like 0.3 of a second to make up. Just keep going until it absolutely stops or something. Might be making a little progress. Maybe not. Oh yeah, she's making a little progress here. And she wigged out. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to see what tweaks I can do in the BIOS and maybe get the RAM a little more efficient. Now I could try to change the CAS to 2 instead of 2.5, but that's probably not going to work. At least not that well. However, let's go for it. Yeah, I believe it is too about RAM settings. Because I was using a RAM divider the whole time, but now I've got it straight 1-to-1 with the bus. Need to add a little ice. Not much. Shoot, I still got plenty of ice. I wasn't expecting this to be a marathon, but here we go. Okay, let's see what my settings are. Be sure I've got everything right. I forgot to raise the CPU multiplier, but that's alright. I know what to do about that. Sometimes I could be my own worst enemy. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and raise that back up as well. Now it ought to be about where I really want it to be. I have to keep tapping the res from time to time to get the ice to settle in like I want it to be. And this time I'm just going to set priority for above normal, not high. Get values. Ooh, she's already clocked. I like what I'm seeing. This might be the way to do it. As you would figured, I got a ways to go yet, but if I don't run out of headroom with my RAM, and that's always possible, if it were somehow possible for me to get both my RAM and my CPU together at both their limits and have a run, then that'd be the best it could possibly do, of course, but it doesn't work out that way. But the nice thing about it is if the RAM would just hold up. You can hear that Northbridge cooler kicking in again. That little cooler puts a little bit of air, no doubt. 26062. Oh yeah, she's getting close to the top. I don't think this RAM likes running much over 300, even though it will. I might get crazy and put 3.3 to it anyway, but who knows? I just did a big jump in my tweak just then. My speed's good. Maybe that'll be enough, maybe not. Get me somewhere in the neighborhood. $25,765. Running out of headroom on my RAM. Let's see. Yeah, and I apologize if that, again, that chipset cooler is a little loud. But it's getting the job done, keeping the chipset cool, and that's what I want it to do. Well, I agree with that. Here we go. 3,300 at 300. That's somebody flying their airplane around. she'll just give me that last five tenths. If she can just do that. Because I'm right at 300 right now. I don't think she'll do it. It's too bit of a stretch if the sticks are walling at 302. But like I said, don't think I won't go for 3.3 on these sticks, if that's what it takes. Getting closer. Okay. Now it's showing 3321 and 301. Let's confirm that. What CPU-Z is telling me. There it is, saying 302 actually here. Well, I hate to say it, Avocado, it helps that I'm partially deaf. And that's not a joke. I really am partially deaf. Come from them years of driving those Tonka trucks up and down the mountain. Okay. A little bit of sneaking. I have the temperature of the North Bridge set to kick in full fan speed at 40°, so when it's thinking that it's at 40 Celsius, it starts kicking up the fan to full speed. That's why you hear it cycling on and off. It is running, but it's just not running at full speed right now. And I just completed that run at what speed? All this information is useful for tweaking in the future. 302.7 at 3329. Hopefully that didn't screw anything up. Give me just a moment. Yeah. Still got plenty of ice in there. Oh, okay, you're like a sidekick. Okay. I apologize for the mix-up. Oh, bashed in the HW. Okay. I'm getting old. What can I say? 25,203. If I'd have got that earlier, that still would have beat the LN2 sub that I was chasing earlier. That definitely would have beat it. But since I've already got a run that beats it so far, I'm good with it. Like you say, don't worry, be happy. Well, gotta be happy. Come on. Now from this point forward, since I don't know exactly how far I have to go, I'm going to be getting screenies of the results I get from this point forward. And hoping it doesn't crash. It's one of those things where I've actually had a run that would have given me this place or that place, or at least tied somebody, and I regret not getting it because, you know, I was thinking I could just keep going in it, and of course I couldn't because it didn't keep going. And that's done properly and everything. I know this chip can do 3355 easy. It's just a matter of can the RAM hold up to all of this. 24950. I might get this in just a minute if the RAM will just hold. That was Stellaris that had that one, the second place. Oh, there she goes. I think I just ran to the limit of my RAM. So I may not be getting that. First off, I'm just going to change that to regular, because sometimes affinity affects stability. Sometimes it will, even though it's a slightly slower result. You trade a tad bit of efficiency with your priority versus stability at a higher speed, because a run that doesn't complete is a run that doesn't complete, doesn't count for anything. Apparently dropping priority work. I'm getting that one too. I'm not the type of person that likes, you know, squeaking by somebody or just barely beating them and being satisfied. I like to go as far as I can. And it only makes sense to. This is a competition. Go ahead and do my double click on that. Close that out. Close that out. See, that's done. I'm going to run it one more time like this just to be sure that the system's still stable after having all those tabs open, and to get some of the RAM back into it. Move my chair. I know I'm gonna have to drain a little bit of water out of my res now. I can see that. definitely need to do that. Let that come on down a little and I'll add a little more ice. Let's see. That's pretty good. Oh. Let's see. I believe it's like Nuke said, it's just a matter of tweaking and just sneaking and tweaking and getting to it right now. If I can get silver or even gold. Let's try it. Ooh. Getting close to the lid on this chip. What appears to be the lid. Can she do it or not? Let this sit for a moment. Oh. Now that doesn't mean it's a total fail. That just means it failed that time. It could keep going. Maybe not. And like I said, I'm not going to bother with priorities right now. Get that settled down. Possibility of silver here. Possible. Nope, not quite. But I'll take it anyway. It just makes bronze that much harder for somebody to come along and take it away from me again. Or whatever I've got, for that fact. I believe if she will complete, if I can bump it up one more time, I'm going to go ahead and run it again just to be sure everything's in it. But I believe if she'll run it one more time, I can get silver. And bump it up one more time and it's still completed. And I can get it. I believe I'll have silver. Oh yeah, I'm just about there. That doesn't look right. That does not look right. I mean, I have to admit that. 24.969. Let me see. Yeah, that's right. I was thinking, for some reason, 25 was right. If she'll do this run, I may have it. Oh yeah, look at that initial. Well, she's just got to hold it together. And she didn't. I'm going to keep an eye on how quickly she fails each time. If she starts failing faster and faster, that's going to tell me I'm at the limit. I do believe that is at least a silver, if not a gold, too. Well, since it's gold, I'm getting it. If I don't have a crash. Gotta get all this in here. Once, twice, and third snap for good measure. So there you go, guys. I set out to recapture what was at least a bronze. I really wasn't sure if I was going to be able to get the gold, but I definitely had bronze in mind as a target, and I wound up getting gold today. And you guys got to see it live. And guess what else I'm about to do? I'm about to push it further, if she'll do it. Well, actually, I want to do like I've done before. I'm going to give it one extra run through, just to make sure. Of course, I'm going to go as far as I can, Nuke. I about know the chip itself's going to top out at right under 3.4. It just seems to have a wall there. But I'm not that far off of it either. So I'm going to take that. And I'm just going to keep going until she just won't go any further. I mean, what else are you going to do? Yeah. Acting like she's completely stable after all the trouble I had. 24/7 instead of a 24/9 something. Yep, I'm getting that one too. This little chip and these RAM sticks just want to keep going. I know the RAM seems to. The RAM just wants to keep on going. Well, she hasn't said no yet, Zilla. As a matter of fact, I think she's screaming right now. Make her squeal. Make that thing squeal. There we go. I think I'm just about at the limit what she's going to do, but I'm going to bench right up to the limit. Will she give me a 24.6? I don't know. Maybe she'll be good to me. I don't know. Well, she might be fixing to slap me in both sides of the face here. In a good way. I don't know. Let's find out. Wow. Let that sit for a moment. I know I've got plenty of ice on the res. I was really surprised at how little ice that it's used today, even with pushing this chip as hard as I've been. Oh, she kicked right out. Give it one more shot. Again, I don't have to worry about 32 meg because I already hold the gold with it, but now I've got this one. Just got to sub it. Let me check that. Looks like if I let the thing sit for a little bit, it'll act like it wants to go. That's at 308 and 3396. But I'm not even going to bother with anything this time. I'm going to let that sit for just a minute. This down a little bit. I'm thinking after I get through trying this, I'm going to end the stream. Because I have actually accomplished what I set out to do. Just doing this. I just want to see if I can somehow make it do a run right at the edge of what it may be capable of, and that's also just to find out what it's capable of. Now I could, reboot it, set it for 3.3 and all that stuff, and you're talking about some time spent tweaking all the way back up to it again. With all that, I'm having to wipe my tubing down a little bit. Paper towel, keep condensation from dripping on something it doesn't need to. Anyway, let's find out what she can do. That valve is off good. No, she's not going to do it. But what I'm going to do, just for future sakes and reference, and it's always good to do this even on failed runs, by the way. You can always get a good idea of what's going on with it. By taking a picture of a failed run, you can compare your iterations as you go, do your tweaks, and then see if there's any improvement at the same speed, if it completes the run at all at the same speed. That's a tweaking tip. And fellas, that's it. All I got to do now is get that screenshot formatted up, everything, and get it subbed, and there you go. I appreciate you stopping in to watch. I said this would be something that I figured you guys might enjoy seeing, and I hope it was. And for the rest of the people that might watch this later on, I do hope that they, watch it and enjoy it. At least watch enough of it so they can see me actually succeed. That's the only way I would put it. Because Zilla can tell you I've had some bad streams lately, but actually the stream before this one and this one have been good. So I think my luck's changing. Thank God for that. And I don't know. I might do something else a little bit later, but it'll probably be water. I'm not going to have liquid nitrogen for a little while at least. So what you see is what I got. All right, fellas, I enjoyed all of you being here. Thank you for being here. And I'm going to end the stream now. See you later. Appreciate all of you.